582 days ago, don't get up in front of a crowd without your speech. I have no speech. This is going to be totally personal. The Inn at New Hyde Park is supporting death and murder. The NRA opposes everything we stand for here today. They oppose the red flag law. They oppose banning assault weapons, and they oppose universal background checks. Are you serious? Those are all common sense laws. You know, they profess the Second Amendment, but let's face it, if you have a gun, if you own a gun, and you have a mental illness, then they can take away the gun because you have a mental illness. But if you have a mental illness, you're still allowed to be safe. They can't take away our safety, and that's what they're trying to do. So, my husband asked me before I came tonight, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to answer you, yes, I'm sure. We have been told many years ago, I would say in the olden days because I'm old, but we've been told in the olden days you should be seen and not heard. Well, today, or actually for the last 582 days, I've been heard. And today I want to share with you because now what I lived through is going to be seen. So, bear with me. People have said to me, you know, Linda, I can't imagine what you're going through. How do you do this? How do you stay so strong? So here's my answer in pictures. This is my son, Scott, okay? Scott was, as most of you know, the geography teacher and cross-country coach who was murdered 582 days ago at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. He was shot 6 times within 3 seconds from 5 feet away. Let me share with you what that 3rd floor looked like, okay, on that day. All the faces had to be redacted for legal purposes, plus I would never want you to see the faces anyway. This is the 3rd floor. When the active shooter came into the school and started shooting on the 1st floor, his 11 victims that he shot there, the residue from the AR-15 made the fire alarm go off. So as far as all the students were concerned, they were having a fire drill, okay? I'm not going to go through from the 1st to the 2nd floor, but I am going to show you the 3rd floor. This is what it looked like, mass chaos. These students were coming out of their classrooms the way they were taught because there was a fire alarm. So they were going to do their fire drill, okay? They were leaving the 3rd floor. They did not hear the gunman shooting on the 1st floor, so they didn't know that there was an active shooter. When the active shooter got to the 2nd floor, everybody was in lockdown because they did realize that there was an active shooter and he was actually shooting. They heard it from the 1st floor. When the active shooter got to the 2nd floor, he did not see anybody because they were in their lockdown drill, okay? There was nobody to be found. So he took his AR-15 and shot into a couple of classrooms trying to see if he could even get the bullets through the classroom windows. But there was nobody because they were at lockdown. At this point, the 3rd floor still did not know there was an active shooter. So this is what the floor looked like when everybody was leaving because they believed it was still a fire drill. At one point, okay, they realized, okay, the teachers realized that it was an active shooter. Now these students who are going to leave the school the way they're supposed to down the stairwells didn't know what to do. There were some students who were frozen in their shoes. There was yelling, there was screaming. They didn't know what to do. The teachers started gathering the students and bringing them into the classrooms, okay? I've not ever shown this picture to anyone before but my husband, and yesterday the deputy secretary of yesterday. I was at an event with Governor Cuomo, and the deputy secretary of I want to say public safety was there. He's the only person I showed it to and asked him if he wanted to use it, and he said to me, "No, Linda, not today." He thought it might be too graphic. I asked him if he thought I could use it. This was yesterday, today, and he said, "By all means." This is why we are here today. This is why there should not be assault weapons on the streets in civilian hands. This is why assault weapons are weapons of war. This is why we need the red flag law. And this is why we need universal background checks. Because this shooter with an AR-15 came up this stairwell, okay? Here's the stairs. Came up this stairwell, took his AR-15, saw my son. Remember, this is redacted. All the students here. My son turned around, and this is the last split second where this shooter was with his AR-15 before he shot my son 6 times within 3 seconds from 5 feet away. My son turned around. My son knew he was being shot. This is why we're here today. This is why we need to keep our voices heard. This is why gun safety is something that's going to happen, because we're not going to stop talking. Right. This is why I do what I do. This is the end result when you get shot by an AR-15 and your legs buckle and you fall down, and the next thing you know, you don't even know you're dead because that AR-15 has obliterated you. And that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here, and that's why you give me support, and that's why you support everything, and that's why we're going to get this passed federally, because I'm telling you, I want to be invited by the NRA to go in and say, give me 10 minutes. Let's have a common sense conversation. Just hear me out. And that's what I want you guys to do. I don't care about your political philosophies. I don't care. I want you to talk from your heart, from common sense, and I want you to tell people, like I do, erase your mind. Listen to me for a couple of minutes. Do you want to be safe? Do you want your friends to be safe? Do you want your coworkers to be safe? Your family members? Nobody says no. So what are we doing? We need to keep our voices heard. I'm telling you, okay? Moms demand action. This mom demands that we keep speaking and we get something done now.